Welcome. Today we're going to journey deep into the mind of Mary Tyrone and really unpack her tragic retreat from reality in Eugene O'Neill's masterpiece, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Okay, so let's dive right in by setting the scene. The physical setting of Act 3, it's not just a backdrop, it perfectly mirrors what's going on inside Mary Tyrone's head. The play describes the evening fog rolling in like a white curtain. Now think about that. This isn't just some gloomy weather, it's a physical barrier, a wall that she welcomes to block out the painful realities of her life.
And Mary herself tells us exactly that. She says the fog hides you from the world. It's her refuge. So while she's physically standing in the room with her family, her mind is using that fog, along with the morphine, to just drift away, far away from the truth about her son's illness and her own bottomless unhappiness. Now, this brings us to a really key scene. Mary finds herself alone with a maid, Kathleen, and in her drug-induced state, she starts drifting back into the past. But it's a very specific version of the past, one she carefully edits for her captive audience.
What's so fascinating here is the stark contrast between these two women. You have Kathleen, who is described as amiable, ignorant, clumsy. She's the perfect, non-judgmental audience for Mary's performance. Mary isn't really looking for a conversation. She needs a sounding board. And this setup just highlights how truly isolated and tormented Mary is. I mean, she has to confide in someone who's so far removed from her world, someone who can't possibly challenge her story.
And this image just illustrates so brilliantly how Mary uses Kathleen. She's not just talking, she's performing. She's trying to convince the maid, and, let's be honest, herself, that her life began as this perfect fairy tale. She paints this picture of James as a great matinee idol, a story of innocent, star-struck love. It's a memory she's intentionally polished, scrubbing away all the tarnish of what came later.
Okay, so as Mary sinks deeper into this morphine haze, her confessions start to zero in on this one powerful obsession, this single object from her past, her wedding dress.
So you have to ask yourself, what is she really searching for? Because it's not just a piece of clothing, right? To really get her obsession, you have to see the dress as a powerful symbol. It represents a time of hope, a time when she had her own life, and a connection to a past that she feels she completely lost.
The key psychological concept at play here is something called projection. Essentially, Mary's taking all of her feelings of love and security, feelings she desperately needs, and she's putting them onto the dress itself. Her deep love for the gown is really a projection of her longing for the stability and affection she remembers from her father. It's a symbol of life before her marriage, before what she now sees as nothing but despair.
In her own words, just lay it all bare. The dress is a relic of her lost innocence. It reminds her of a time when she had these other dreams, right? Of being a concert pianist or maybe a nun. These were paths that were just closed off forever the moment she fell for James Tyrone. It's this beautiful but incredibly painful reminder of everything she believes she gave up.
But here's the thing, Mary's retreat isn't passive at all. It's an active battle against the present. And every time her family tries to break through that morphine haze, it only makes her defenses stronger. Take her son, Edmund. He is terrified by his tuberculosis diagnosis, a truth she just flat out refuses to accept. So he tries to shock her back to reality with this just wounding accusation. He calls her a dope fiend. It's a desperate, even cruel attempt to make her see his fear, but she's already too far gone. It doesn't land.
And then there's her husband, James. You can just feel the hopeless resignation when he confronts her. He asks if she's going to take more of the poison. But his words are just noise at this point. He knows exactly what she's doing, but he is completely powerless to stop her. His accusation can't get through the fortress she's built around herself.
And her reaction is just chilling. Watch how she deflects. The play says her face becomes a mask, composed in plaster. Her tone becomes remote. She just denies his reality, pretending she has no idea what he's talking about. Her addiction has become this impenetrable fortress. She is completely untouchable, totally unreachable.
So by the end of the play, the battle's over, and reality has completely lost. Mary's long day's journey into the night of her past is finally, tragically, complete.
This right here is the haunting final image of Mary's entire journey. She is physically there in the room, but her mind is just gone. It's lost in a memory, a time before all her sorrows began. That wedding dress is no longer just a symbol. It's a real relic she's clinging to as she drifts all the way back to her youth.
She's a ghost in her own home now.
Her final monologue isn't for her family. She doesn't even see them. She has completely regressed back to the convent, talking about her dream of becoming a nun. In this last moment, she has successfully erased her entire life as a wife and a mother. She is this tragic symbol of the devastating effects of addiction, denial, and a past that you just can't escape.
So the play leaves us with this huge, haunting question, doesn't it? Is the past just a place you can visit, or is it a prison with no way out? Well, for the Tyrones, it's very clearly a prison. The past is this revolving door of guilt and blame, and they are all trapped in a cycle where they can't forgive themselves, they can't forgive each other, ensuring that their past will always be their future.